One day I decided to go on an adventure and hike through some trails close to my house that I'd never been on before. As I ventured deeper into the dense forest, the towering trees swayed ominously above me. The once inviting trail now seemed to twist and turn with a sinister intent. I had planned a peaceful hike to clear my mind and escape the chaos of the city, but as the first distant rumble of thunder echoed through the woods, I realized I was in for a far more harrowing experience. The sky darkened with each passing moment, the once blue expanse now a tumultuous canvas of angry grays and deep purples. The wind howled through the branches, whipping my hair and clothes in every direction. I quickened my pace, hoping to reach the safety of the old cabin I knew lay ahead. But the storm had other plans. A sudden, deafening crack split the air, followed by a blinding flash of light. I stumbled backwards, my heart pounding in my chest. A tree, mere feet away, had been struck by lightning. The smell of burning wood and ozone filled my nostrils, and I could feel the heat radiating from the charred trunk. Panic seized me as I realized I was completely exposed, with nowhere to hide from the wrath of the storm. I scrambled for my phone, hoping to call for help, but the signal was lost in the chaos. I was alone, trapped in the heart of the storm. Rain began to fall in sheets, soaking me to the bone. The trail beneath my feet turned to mud, making each step treacherous. I could barely see through the relentless downpour, and the roar of the thunder drowned out all other sounds. I felt small and insignificant, at the mercy of the elements. As I trudged forward, my thoughts turned to the stories I had heard as a child. Tales of hikers who vanished in the woods, never to be seen again. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The storm seemed to last an eternity, but eventually the rain began to subside, and the thunder grew more distant. I breathed a sigh of relief as I caught sight of the cabin, its weathered walls a beacon of hope in the gloom. I stumbled inside, shivering and exhausted. As I collapsed onto the creaky floor, I couldn't help but feel grateful to have survived the storm. But the memory of that day would stay with me forever, a chilling reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life. It was a gloomy day at the park. The kind of day where the sky is painted in shades of gray and the air is heavy with the promise of rain. I was a young girl, no more than 8 years old, and my parents had brought me to the park to play. But as we walked along the winding paths, I became distracted by the colorful flowers and the rustling leaves. Before I knew it, I was lost in the beauty of the park, and my parents were nowhere to be found. I wandered aimlessly, my heart pounding in my chest as the first drops of rain began to fall. The park, once so familiar and inviting, now seemed like a dark and treacherous place. As the rain grew heavier, I began to panic. I called out for my parents, but my voice was swallowed up by the sound of the storm. The trees swayed and creaked, their branches reaching out like skeletal arms to grab me. The rain fell in sheets, soaking me to the bone and blurring my vision. I stumbled through the park, my feet slipping on the wet grass and my clothes clinging to my skin. I was cold, wet, and alone. The park seemed to stretch on forever, and I began to fear that I would never find my way back to my parents. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a figure. It was a man, tall and thin, with a dark coat and hat pulled low over his eyes. He was standing at the edge of the woods, watching me. My heart leapt into my throat, and I froze in place. The man started to walk towards me, his long strides eating up the distance between us. I wanted to run, but my feet were rooted to the ground. As he drew closer, I could see the cold glint in his eyes, and I knew that I was in danger. Just as the man reached out to grab me, a flash of lightning split the sky, illuminating the park in a brief moment of stark clarity. In that moment, I saw my parents, running towards me with their arms outstretched. I cried out in relief, and my parents scooped me up, holding me tight as the storm raged around us. We huddled together, waiting for the storm to pass. As the rain began to subside, I knew that I was safe, and that my parents would always find me, no matter how lost I might be. I clutched the box containing my brand new NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 Super, my heart pounding with excitement. I had saved up for months to buy this powerful graphics card, and I couldn't wait to get it home and install it in my gaming rig. As I stepped out of the store, I noticed the sky had grown dark and ominous. The air was thick with the promise of rain, and I knew I had to hurry if I wanted to get my precious cargo home safely. I quickened my pace, my eyes darting to the sky every few seconds as if I could will the storm away. But it was no use. The first drops of rain began to fall, slow at first, but quickly turning into a relentless downpour. The wind picked up, howling through the streets and tearing at my clothes. I pulled my jacket tighter around the box, desperate to shield it from the rain. I broke into a run, my feet pounding the pavement as I raced towards home. The rain fell in sheets, soaking me to the bone and turning the streets into rivers. My heart sank as I realized I had forgotten my umbrella in my excitement to get home and install my new graphics card. As I rounded the corner onto my street, I could see my house in the distance. I was so close, yet the rain seemed to be coming down harder than ever. I gritted my teeth and pushed on, my arms burning from the weight of the box. Finally, I reached my front door, fumbling with my keys as the rain continued to pour down. I burst inside, slamming the door shut behind me and sinking to the floor in relief. I had made it. I carefully opened the box, checking the contents for any signs of water damage. To my immense relief, everything was dry. I let out a shaky laugh, my heart still racing from the adrenaline rush of my race against the rain. I spent the rest of the afternoon installing my new graphics card, my excitement building as I realized just how much of a difference it would make in my gaming experience. As I booted up my favorite game and watched the stunning graphics come to life on my screen, I couldn't help but smile. It had been a close call, but I had made it home with my precious cargo. Ultimately, the thrill of the race against the rain had only added to the excitement of my new upgrade.